Buitoni Macaroni, makers of starch-reduced elbow macaroni, famous marinara sauce, and pure-grated Parmesan cheese, presents Joe DiMaggio's Dugout, starring the Yankee Clipper himself, Joe DiMaggio.
It's a hit, it's a homer, look at that ball go. Here comes Joe DiMaggio.
Hi, glad to see you in the dugout. Hope you told your friends about our weekly meetings. Just like I promised, we've got more big league action for you today. High-speed, slow-motion pictures of the stars in action. If you watch close and listen sharp, you'll learn a lot about how to play the game. After that, we'll have a dugout quiz. All 5 of my friends here are going to get prizes, and the winner will get an extra prize. We'll get to that later. But what do you say we get to the big league action right now?
Here's an outfielder's view of the best shortstop in baseball, Phil Scooter Rizzuto. Phil is going to show you how to play shortstop, so watch real close. Don't try to handle grounders off to one side. Get behind the ball. And if you miss it, your body stops it from going to the outfield. Also, you've got better control. The idea is for you to play the ball and not let the ball play you. And always remember, keep your glove hand on the bottom and don't take your eye off the ball. Here's an ordinary grounder near second. See how fast Phil gets the throw off to first? Now in slow motion. You can see it even better. Phil starts to break as soon as he sees where the ball is going. He catches with both hands, too. That's another important thing. Also, notice the second baseman backing up the play. Now a hard play, going into the hole between short and third. In slow motion, you can see that you really have to get started fast or else the ball goes through for a hit. And you've got to straighten up for that long throw like Phil is doing. Now for pop flies. Don't run backwards to catch them. Turn around and run for them. And holler for the ball good and loud. And everyone knows you're going to take it. And there won't be any collisions. Here Phil is showing you how not to play a pop fly. Don't look into the sun. See what happens when you do? Use your glove to shade your eyes and stay with the ball all the way. When you catch it, squeeze onto it. Here's a pickoff play. Phil has given the pitcher his signal and breaks for the bag. He's out. This time, notice how Phil covers the bag so that he can't get spiked. And also, watch how Phil's glove blocks the base so the runner's got to slide right into it. That's the way to do it. So long, Phil. Be seeing you soon with another lesson.
We'll have our dugout quiz in a moment. But first, let's hear from Bud Palmer. Yes, quiz time now. I've got some baseball questions here, and we'll go right down the line with the answers. A right answer counts as a hit, and of course, a wrong answer is an out. Best betting average at the end of the quiz wins the United States Defense Bond. Ready, kids? Let's go. And the first question to you, Dave. When a batter hits for the cycle, what does it mean?
Home run.
Well, that's part of it.
Single.
That's right.
Double. Triple.
That's correct. Single, double, triple, and a home run. You hit one yourself. And now, Ann, what Major League park has the shortest left field fence?
I think that's the Polo Grounds.
The Polo Grounds is right. It's even shorter than the renowned left field wall over there at Fenway Ballpark in Boston. And now, Paul, what kind of pitch is considered most difficult for a catcher to handle? Fastball, a slider, knuckleball, or a screwball? It's a tough one, isn't it?
Screwball?
No, I'm sorry, Paul, but a knuckleball. Even the pitcher doesn't know which way it'll break. Now, I got one for you, Gary. Give 2 other nicknames for Babe Ruth. 2 nicknames for Babe Ruth. You think any at all? Well, I'll give you a couple. He has more than 2. The Sultan of Swat, the Bambino, and the King of Swat, and a few others. And believe me, he can hit like all of them put together. And now, Steve, approximately how far is the plate from second base? 120 feet, 127 feet, or 129 feet?
127 feet.
127 feet is correct. And to be exact, 127 feet and 3 3/8 inches. Sometimes I wished that they had that ball 3/8 of an inches bigger. All right, Dave, you're up again. What is the longest Major League game on record?
Cincinnati Reds.
Do you recall how many innings that was?
16.
No, I'm sorry, Dave, but it was 26 innings, and a game, I asked if you knew how many innings it was, because that game was between Brooklyn and Boston. And the starting pitchers, by the way, lasted all the way. And what is the second baseman's job in the case of an extra base hit to right center field? Can you tell me what he does?
He receives the Philadelphia and relay to,
Well, that's close enough, and I think I'll have to give you a correct answer on that. He generally goes out to take the relay to help throw the ball into wherever the play might be. Paul, what is the correct scoring on a ball that bounces off the shortstop's shoulder and into the third baseman's glove on the fly? Is it an error, an assist, or an unassisted out by the third baseman? An error, an assist, or an unassisted out by the third baseman?
And then it's spit out by the third baseman.
No, I'm sorry, Paul, but the answer is the shortstop gets an assist. Gary, what manager once fined a ball player $50 for hitting a home run? Now, that's something, isn't it? That's a long time ago. You may have read something about it. Well, that is a tough one, Gary, and the answer is John McGraw fined Moose McCormick for not bunting as ordered. That's pretty good, though. You don't have to bunt and hit one out of the ballpark, isn't it? Okay, Steve. What would be the score in the event of a forfeited game?
I think that the home team would win.
Well, does it necessarily have to be the home team?
No.
No. What will the score be?
5-4 or some that the team is ahead.
Well, you got part of the answer right. If you put 5 and 4, that would be 9. That would be half the answer. However, the score would be 9-0. You're the hitter, Dave. What is meant by the expression, the runner tagged himself out?
He slides and goes over a base.
No, I can't give you a right answer on that, Dave. The answer is the base was so well blocked that the runner slid right into the glove of the fella holding the ball. And, Ann, who were the big train and the big six?
the big train was Walter Johnson, and the big six, I think, was Christy Matheson.
That is very, very good. As a matter of fact, I had to look that one up myself. And Paul, what is meant by the expression, it's better to be sure of one than to lose two? What is meant by the expression, it's better to be sure of one than to lose two?
Or on a double play, whenever like a double play in the down ball.
That's right.
Try to block.
Take it easy now. You got the right answer.
You know, they mean that it's better to get one out than to get two out.
That's right. That's very, very good. That's very good, Paul. As a matter of fact, if the infielder is not sure of the double play, he should throw to first and get one out rather than risking both men being safe. And sometimes it costs the second baseman taking the throw from for instance, the shortstop to tag second baseman. He's off balance, maybe to hold on to the ball instead of throwing away and having the man go from first to second base. And now, Gary, which foot should the second baseman tag second base with on double plays?
Well, it depends how the ball is hit.
Well, no. For instance, now a ball is hit to the shortstop and he's relaying the ball to the second baseman. How should he tag that bag? What foot should he use?
Right.
And no, I'm sorry, Gary, but the answer is the right foot. And Steve, exactly when does a batsman become a base runner?
Bunny hit the ball?
That is correct. Very good. That's the end of the questions. Now, let's take a look at the scoreboard, Bud, and see who the winner of the United States Defense Bond is.
Well, our winner, Joe, is Ann Jaffe, batting a mean 1,000, the only girl in the crowd. And she receives the bond. Of course, all the kids are winners because Buitoni has Hellbros watches for all 5. For the girls, the dainty Hellbros Bernice. For the boys, the Hellbros Invincible, the shock-resistant, watertight watch made for young athletes. Okay, Joe, that's it.
Say, you kids did all right with those questions. Some were pretty tough, too. Hope you enjoy your prizes as much as I enjoyed having you in a dugout. I'll be back in a minute, but first, let's have a reminder from Bud Palmer.
Yes, fans, remember that for good health and good eating, nothing beats a Buitoni macaroni dinner. Buitoni elbow macaroni is the macaroni with added wheat germ. That means, aside from being tops in taste, Buitoni gives you added energy. Add that to the fact that Buitoni is lower in starch and higher in protein, and you'll see why Joe DiMaggio calls it the bodybuilding macaroni. And say, look at this. Here's real good eating. Elbow macaroni covered with famous Buitoni marinara sauce. And fans, that's the greatest. It's made of ripe peeled plum tomatoes, pure olive oil, and just the right touch of seasoning. Sprinkle it with Buitoni pure grated Parmesan cheese, mild and tasty, and that's the dinner that'll really stick to your ribs. And tell Mom it won't add to her waistline. Have Mom make you some Buitoni elbow macaroni for dinner. It takes only 5 minutes to cook, and you eat all you want because it's lower in starch and higher in protein. Yes, sir, keep trim with Buitoni. And now let's get back to the dugout and Joe DiMaggio.
See you next week, fans. Till then, keep trim with Buitoni. See ya.
Next week, another big leaguer in action. Another quiz in DiMaggio's dugout. Brought to you by Buitoni Elbow Macaroni. The bodybuilding macaroni that's lower in starch, higher in protein, and tops in taste.
It's a hit, it's a homer, look at that ball go. There goes Joe DiMaggio. Hear the crowd start cheering. Batter up, play ball. When the game gets going, there'll be fun for one and all. Batter up, we're ready. Let the pitcher start to throw. Give 3 cheers for baseball. Batter up, let's go. Hear the crowd start cheering. Batter up, play ball. When the game gets going, there'll be fun for one and all. Batter up, get started, keep your eye on every throw. Give 3 cheers for baseball and Joe DiMaggio.